ask the atheist. All you people who go home and say I'm an atheist, now's your big chance to challenge your thinking.
Aw, thanks, man. I'm so glad someone has finally done it and allowed me to challenge my thinking. Because all this time, all I was doing was sitting here and saying to myself, my goodness, it's amazing how right I am about everything all the time. No, wait, that's the majority of theists I cover on this channel. I forgot it. Since you lot already have all the answers, and when I want to know something, I have to actually, find out about it and potentially screw that up and be wrong and dumb. And considering I do this shit in public all the time, sometimes I say some right stupid shit. And because I don't know if I'm right, because there's no big book that tells me so, that is always a possibility. But sure, you're going to be the one to challenge anyone's thinking. And of course, you challenge yours all the time, don't you? Yeah? Sure. And not just put yourself in places where no one can challenge you, right?
Now here's my question, ready? How do you get life from no life, atheist?
But you see, what you do is you get a jar of peanuts and then you open it, and sometimes, but not often, but at some point, there will be new life in it. No, wait, that was a really stupid argument from a moron trying to refute something. Fuck knows what, really. No, actually, I guess how one would get life from non-living material would be chemistry, because that's what would be, happening. Now, do we currently know for a fact how life emerged, aka abiogenesis? No, but there are plenty of ideas and some experimental data that demonstrate possible ways life can emerge from non-life with no intervention, so probably one of those.
Atheists, answer the question. How do you get life out of no life?
Okay, mate, repeating it over and over again isn't going to do anything, but while I'm here, I might as well add that for those of you who need to hear it. Scientists doing experiments to demonstrate how life can come from non-life, A, isn't them trying to disprove God, and B, isn't them creating life in a lab or whatever. It's showing how it could form on its own. It is not the same thing. And anyone too stupid to understand that really needs to go sit in the corner and wait for crayon tasting hour to begin. I recommend Sky Blue.
You've got nothing? How can you add anything to nothing?
Non-life isn't nothing, you tool. Non-life is, it's actually basically fucking everything in the universe. Because, basically, if you weren't being a big silly with what you just said, I think you'd say something along the lines of, have literally everything ever floating around and bumping into each other, and then you have a new thing to add to all the everything. Which, frankly, doesn't sound quite as quote-unquote devastating, does it?
But we've got a universe smiling at us. So it must have come from somewhere.
I'm sorry, the universe and life aren't the same thing, mate. Those are two very different questions. One is about the emergence of a specific category of thing inside of the other. And the other is, the other. And we don't know that either. But again, there are some very good ideas as to both. But the important thing to bear in mind is that even if we never figure it out, unless any kind of God is actually demonstrated to be the cause instead, your thing doesn't just get to be true. That's not how this shit works. And I don't have to pick any answer just because I'm pretty sure yours is bollocks.
Atheist nil, the Christian one.
No one there even attempted to answer your fucking question, you great big doofus. The hell? You don't get to ask stupid questions that don't make sense, all out there on your own, and take no answers and then claim your victory. That's the dumbest shit I've seen for at least 7 days. Damn.
Here's the second question to the atheist. Are you ready?
No one even got to answer the first one, but sure.
How do you get life from no life? There's 8 billion minds on the planet, atheists.
Oh, I see what's happened here. This host has had a major error. I see. No, wait, we aren't in Westworld. He's just really bad at this. The first question was supposed to be, where does the universe come from? And then, how does life come from non-life? And considering I've already answered the second one, and the second one is, I don't know, Speeve, does that mean I get 2 points before he's even finished his bit? Awesome. 2-0 to me. What, you think he's getting points he's given himself? No, that's my job. 10-0.
And the atheist knows that not one of those minds can bring life from no life. Try it. You become a superstar overnight if you do it.
Okay, so now he's talking about minds bringing life, and that someone who did would be a superstar overnight. I mean, for starts, you are way overestimating the public appreciation for science and the scientists who do it. I mean, here you are on the internet, on camera, in a city, surrounded by people using all sorts of different technologies to live their lives. And you're pretending that science doesn't know dick all about the universe or life. Yeah, people's hypocrisy is just unfucking believable sometimes. 17-0.
But if you can't do it with one mind, and we can't do it with 8 billion, you certainly can't do it, folks. I'm only asking atheists a question.
I'm only asking questions, and you're all stupid pieces of shit who haven't answered the question yet. Yeah, you know that all human minds aren't working towards a single goal at the same time, right? There's this idea of standing on the shoulders of giants. There's certain answers that just cannot be gotten to without kind of a lot of prerequisite work. So if we aren't there yet, then those answers can't come as of yet. But considering you have done literally none of that work, to act like you are somehow in possession of the knowledge that we can't yet have is pretty fucking rich.
They're all bankrupt. Every one of them are bankrupt. Here's another question.
Wow, really is just old man shouting at clouds vibes all over. And bankrupt? My finances are both fine and none of your fucking business. Unless you mean intellectually bankrupt, where black pots and all that. And if you mean morally, well sure, but these babies aren't going to eat themselves, are they?
How do you get order from chaos by chance?
You don't? Do you think that the quote-unquote order we see in the universe is by chance? No, dumbass, it's from various forces in the universe and their effect on it. And as things balance out, you get what sort of looks like design. But it's more just things falling into place. I mean, if you throw a roulette ball onto the rouletting table or whatever the fuck it's called, it's going to hit a random number at some point, sure. But it has to hit some number. Well, much the same, the universe had to come to something based on the attributes that the universe has.
If you see design, you're a dimbo if you think it happened by chance. Atheist, answer the question.
But I'm not going to let you, because then I might sound like a, what did you call it? Dim bulb? Dumbo? Whatever. Again, hypocrite. And it's not design. So I don't see design. I see the results of systems. How did those systems come to be? Well, you didn't ask that because you're not smart enough to know. And I'm not doing your fucking job for you. Except this bit, 50 minus 10. I docked points for the jumper.
You cannot do it. Here's another question to an atheist. Give me some hope to a dying man.
Giving some hope to a dying man? Wait, are you dying? Or are you supposed to be giving me hope? I don't know. Maybe it's a threat. Of what? I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't like it.
You're sent to the hospital of a dying man. Give me some hope.
Ah, okay, it's neither of us. Cool. And give him some hope? Well, if he wasn't in hospital, he probably would have none, since, you know, they kind of make people more alive. But sure, let's add in the caveat that this man is dying in pain. Here's some hope. At some point, that pain is going to stop. How's that not hope? In fact, there are plenty of people who find that is enough to fight on because they know at some point the struggle will end. So, hey, let's just ride it out. But I know you mean asinine live forever in a sky mansion shit, but frankly, I don't find that hopeful at all. I find that unbelievably terrifying. I do not want to be forced to exist forever. That sounds absolutely fucking awful. And don't get me started on being forced to exist with my fucking family. I already avoid those guys like the plague that they are. Why would I ever consider their continued existence a fucking benefit?
Oh, atheist, where are you? You're hiding.
Are they hiding, or do they, like, have a million fucking better things to do? Hum-de-hum.
The reason you're hiding is you can't answer my question. I'm telling you, you're bankrupt.
Your questions are like super easy to answer. The problem is you're only pretending to solicit answers. I mean, fuck. Are there actually any vocal atheists around you right now? Or did you go to Churchy McTheiston-on-Thames when you knew you would only be surrounded by people who actually fucking agreed with you? I mean, talk about actually hiding from the answers, eh?
Answer the question. How do you get life out of no life, atheist?
Okay, fine, you keep saying it. Here's one hypothesis. And no, I'm not saying this is what happened, but it's certainly an idea and has apparently got some merit. The clay hypothesis. First off, it's not literally about clay as you might be thinking of it, and it's not saying that humans are mudmen or whatever. And right here, I've got a screenie that better explains it than I ever could. But as I understand it, the idea is that certain crystalline forms could make for excellent environments for certain kinds of molecules to come together, with the added bonus that they would be able to be spread around more easily than in other mediums. And that's one of many explanations. And the thing is, the atheists don't have to know any of them to not buy into whatever your one is. But to assume that there are no others is an exercise in utter stupidity.
Does anybody know? Do you know, sir? Sorry to wake you up.
This motherfucker's now shouting at sleeping strangers. I mean, for fuck's sake. If half his goddamn audience is asleep, how the hell does he expect anyone to be answering bloody questions? So it's less that he's preaching to the choir, but more that he's preaching to the fucking coma ward. And then probably high-fiving himself with the patient's limp hands and making them give him frickin' thumbs up. Tool.
Do you know? He's having a siesta, he thinks he's in Spain.
Mind your fucking business. Look, if you see a stranger in public who's fallen a fucking sleep, assuming that they're in a safe position, even if you aren't some jackass preaching to some wankers giggling like morons at what isn't even a joke, it's just a goddamn observation, leave them a fucking alone. You don't know what their day, week, month, or year has been like. Maybe this is the first 5 minutes nap they've managed to get between constant bouts of endless suffering. It's the same with anyone who has the need to tell strangers on buses that they should smile, it might never happen. I had some colossal wankstain say this to me once, when I just found out that I was being evicted for reasons largely outside of my control, with absolutely nowhere else for me to go at the time. And having Dipshit McGee proudly point out that I looked fucking miserable didn't fucking help the matter, shockingly enough. Shut his stupid fucking face when I told him that it already had happened. Tell you that for free. What an absolute wanker. I hope his might never happen happened to him too, prick. Yes, I am petty.
I'm asking an atheist a question.
Are you? I'm sorry, but the whole how do you know someone's an atheist, they'll tell you, that shit doesn't work if they're asleep. Atheists don't snore like goddamn cartoon characters going, God isn't real. What a load of toss. Existence is ultimately meaningless. Nom 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 baby sandwich. No, that's just me.
There's loads of them, they say, I'm an atheist, you put them on the spot and they're all bankrupt.
God damn it, man. I want to see you put someone on the spot. You know, someone who's actually conscious. Weird that he is literally the only person you have actually tried to engage with thus far. But yeah, especially someone who has some familiarity with this trash. Because I'm pretty sure you would literally fucking melt. And that's not because they would be so smart or so much more knowledgeable than anyone in particular, but because you clearly have never even engaged with anyone who knows just how full of shit you are.
Here's another question for you. If there's nothing, where does everything come from?
The fuck are you talking about? I mean, this is kind of the first question again, but asked in a way worse way. But also, how the fuck do you know that there was ever nothing? All we know, if you go as far back as possible, is the singularity was a thing, probably. And that sure as shit isn't nothing. It is, in fact, basically fucking everything. So again, it is like you should ask, there's everything, and where did all the everything come from after that? And that's just a really weird thing to ask. Especially to sleeping strangers. Also, 5,000 and minus 10,000, just because I fucking feel like it.
Without any mind.
I don't know, how do you do it? How do you stand there and claim victory over people you aren't even talking to without a goddamn thought in that giant fucking catacomb you call a brain? How do you even manage to stand and make mouth noises that sounds like some form of coherent speech? And yet, when you actually listen, you realize that it's just gibbering nonsense. How do you do it? I need to know, because I have this meat robot that I have been testing out, and I want to make sure that it is completely incapable of developing any reasonable form of self-awareness. And, well, you are just the fucking ticket, mate.
Come on, answer the question, atheist. You're stuck. Oh, thank you very much.
What was that about? Did someone hand him a check or? Oh, wait a second. He fucking dropped it. That's great. I thought for a second someone might actually like this nonsense, but no, good lad here was just making sure that moron didn't leave his smelly garbage littering the ground, and he had the bravery to actually touch that garbage. God doesn't exist, speed, pal. You are the best of us for your bravery there.
Let me ask you another question. My sister's died.
That's not a question, that's just a little bit sad. I mean, you do seem to be getting on a bit, so I guess it's not that unexpected. Also, of course, it depends if you liked her. If you hated her, then muzzle top. No greater victory than outliving all your enemies.
She's in a mortuary in Blackburn. You give me some hope. We're going to bury her on Friday. You give me some hope.
Jesus, dude, way to bring down the vibe. That is, of course, assuming that you aren't fucking lying in order to get some form of pity points. Frankly, I kind of hope you are lying, because otherwise this is just weird. But considering that you have all the signs and all this gear, I can't imagine that this was actually a spur of the moment act of grief, but more of a way to capitalize on other people's empathy. Sad news for you. I'm a piece of shit and I don't care if she died or not. It's no excuse to come out here and say dumbass bullshit.
What does an atheist say? Oh, well, she's gone to the other room.
I don't know any atheist alive who says anything about going to another room. That sounds more like what you likely believe. I think that when someone dies, they're gone. And that the hope in life is to live one in such a way that people won't try to take advantage of your death to trick people into believing utter bollocks.
How do you know? How do you know the room's not crowded? My sister could be 50 foot wide. She might not fit in the other room.
Yeah, either this guy is lying about his sister's recent passing, or he's a total fucking sociopath. Possibly both.
How do you know? Atheist, answer the question. You can't answer it.
Dude, it wasn't even a question, it was a request. You said give me hope. So not only are you possibly incapable of empathy, but you also don't know how fucking questions work.
Here's another one. You got told tomorrow you've got a terminal illness. What hope have you got? Nothing. You've got no hope. You just hope Jesus was wrong and he said he's appointed to you once to die and then you're going to be judged. Why is it, madam?
I think that's a perfect place to end. Not only because this guy keeps just asking the same stupid non-questions over and over again, but if you didn't hear that there, that lady said shite and walked off. Which, if you are ever confronted by this kind of idiot, that is the perfect response. Shite and good night. Bye!
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstaff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the